Okay, so this will be the last one that I make today. Um, we're going to talk about the transportation issue. We we don't plan to live close to any of the major cities. We want to be closer to the Mayan ruins, which is about 2.5 or 2 hours away from Belize City, and about the same distance, a couple hours from the ocean. So we're going to be inland a little bit. Um, The further you go inland, the further you're leaving the tourist districts, which means you're not dealing with a bunch of paved roads. You're dealing with dirt roads, and when it rains, you're dealing with roads that are going to be mud and impassable for a lot of vehicles. It is strongly suggested that if you're going to be staying there for an extended time, you drive a four-wheel drive vehicle. Um, and so the jury is out on whether it is wiser to bring a vehicle with you if you plan to live there, or to go there and purchase a vehicle. Now, again, absolutely everything is imported in Belize, and the people are not working with a lot of money. So, for buying, like, there's not like a super bunch of car dealerships because there's just not a super bunch of people who are down there buying brand new cars, right? People drive golf carts, ride bikes, all that good stuff. Um, Walk, what have you. Um, and then there is public transportation that connects kind of the major areas. And so we will want transportation. The girls and I will want a vehicle that we can, especially for this first year when we're doing these 3-month trial periods in the different areas, unless we absolutely just fall in love with San Ignacio and decide that that's where we want to settle. Um, Even if we do that, we will want to explore Belize, and we will want um, to be able to do so in our own vehicle. So the jury is out on whether it is more expensive to buy a vehicle here and pay the ridiculous tax. And when I say ridiculous tax, you can pay up to 70% of what your vehicle is worth to bring it into the country and have it registered. Um, Now, for something like I'm looking at, like a four-wheel drive, six-cylinder vehicle, you can pay like 30 to 40% of the vehicle's value in taxes to bring it into the country as a resident. So that's a huge tax if you're driving a brand new Ford Explorer, right? I am not looking for something brand new. I am looking for something reliable, trusty. Uh, so, like for instance, there's this particular Isuzu Trooper that I'm looking at that the guy wants like $1,500 for it. It needs a little bit of work here and there. Estimated to be about $500 worth of work that needs to be done to it. He only wants 1,500. If I drop 500 into it, you're looking at $2,000. The vehicle Kelley Blue Book value is about $5,000. Uh, so at the end of the day, I'm going to end up paying that $5,000 for it, because if I spend the 2,000 to buy it and get it running, insure it, and then drive it on down there, and then it's going to, let's say they hit me with the 40% tax. Now I'm looking at another, almost $2,000. Yeah, I'm looking at $2,000 that I'm going to pay just to bring it in, which takes me up to like 4 Gs, right? So that's like that's me actually paying the Blue Book value for the vehicle at the end of the day to have it down there. That for me is a better option than if I were to try to buy a, a car with the Blue Book value of $5,000 down there, because first of all, um, any vehicle that's been in Belize for a number of years, like let's say I buy a 2002 vehicle, right? Um, it's been in Belize for 15 years. That sucker's taken a beating. Even if they drove it as gingerly as they could, the road conditions are going to be hell on your suspension and all that stuff. And so I am opting to find a vehicle, an older vehicle here that someone has taken really good care of, that they can, they have all of the repair records. They can, they've done a lot of highway miles as opposed to city driving. A vehicle that, uh, it's got maybe another 100,000 miles in it, um, that's pretty cheap that I can take down myself. I am not interested in the gamble of what I might get um, down there, given the type of a budget that I'm looking at. I don't really want to spend more than $6,000 total on the vehicle, um, and getting it into Belize. So we're talking, I'm looking for real budget, low budget kind of a deal. Um, there is a lot of risk involved with that, however. There are only certain models of vehicles that are very popular in Belize, and even so, um, those vehicles, depending on what market they were created for, use different parts. So, like a Ford Explorer is not standard, whatever parts are going to be on it. It really is going to depend on what region of the world, what region in the world that vehicle was manufactured for, what parts they're going to use. And so you've got to have, um, or I've got to have a mechanic who's going to be able to repair it and be able to get parts. So I did my research and found out what are the American made, or American market vehicles that are most popular down there, and which is going to drastically it's going to make a huge difference in terms of getting parts for it if something does go wrong. Certain stuff they're going to have in stock, other stuff they're just not. You could wait 3 months for your windshield wiper motor to come for your whatever vehicle you're driving. And then, of course, the cost of the vehicle motor, like, or windshield wiper motor. You could pay a few bucks for it here. You're going to pay 3 times as much to have it ordered for you there, type of thing. So I've looked up some of the models that are very common in Belize, um, and so I'm looking for specific vehicles. So, the Isuzus are pretty popular. Fords, some of the Fords, not all of them, are popular. A few of your Chevy models are popular. A few of your Nissan models are popular. That's kind of the list. Oh, they were saying, um, that the Hondas are becoming more popular. Um, but just in doing my homework, I am opting for, to try to find a Trooper. I found one. Hopefully, I can get it before someone else does. It's far away from me, and the guy isn't super comfortable with selling it, uh, or even taking like a deposit and holding it for a few weeks till I can get to it. So whatever. It's kind of a complicated situation with me trying to find exactly what I'm looking for, but at least I do know what I'm looking for. I know what I want to spend because I know what it's going to cost me to bring it into the country. And I know, um, my relocation specialist has connected me with, a mechanic, a reliable, honest, and affordable mechanic who, um, also, gives input in terms of, yes, this is a car I've worked on before, an American model, I can get parts, or no, there's no way in the world, that's going to be a pain in the neck. I don't typically work on those, or the parts are really hard to get. And so, like I said, the jury, um, is out on that one. It just really depends on how much your car is worth, how much you've already invested into it, um, and if your vehicle is practical, even, like if you're driving around in a Jetta, that's nice for the United States, but you don't want a Jetta if you're like going to live outside of Belize City. Like your Jetta is going to suffer greatly if you live an hour outside of 45 minutes outside of the city, because half that driving time is going to be on bumpy, rocky, dirt, mud roads, and sometimes just impassable when you get your rainy season. So, so that being said, my fingers are crossed that I can get this this trooper that this guy is selling. Um, Hopefully, God answers all my prayers, and so I do believe that the right vehicle is there for us. We'll get it under budget, um, and that we will get something that someone is selling way below Blue Book value, so that the remainder can be applied to the tax, bringing it in. And I also like the idea of the road trip over. The girls kind of don't care; they would fly or drive. I would prefer to drive. Uh, and so, we could also bring stuff in with us if we drive. We would have to pay the taxes on it, but at least we could bring, whatever it is we would want. Not that I have a bunch of stuff that I would bring because I'm shipping the things that I want to keep. But yeah. So that's the story with the vehicle. I will keep you posted as that develops. If I am able to secure a vehicle, of course, I will do a little blog and let you all see it and explain why I got it and all that other stuff. Um, so yeah, that's phase one of getting wheels for Belize. I am going to have to break my lease with Hyundai a little prematurely. Um, that's not super complicated, a little expensive. There's some repairs that I will have to do to the car, like cosmetic stuff. I found a site where I can get the parts super, super cheap, and I will have some things fixed up on it just because my intent, I mean, we didn't intentionally tear the car up, but I mean, I've got kids and it's kind of functioned like a minivan in our lives, hauling kids and crap and everything. And so my intent was to keep the car. I love the car that I drive at the end of the lease, but you can't take a leased car, um, into other countries and stuff like that. Like you've got to have like written permission from the dealer to even take the car out of the country, and it's just a whole bunch of headache. And frankly, it's not a car that's going to be practical. It's lovely driving around here in Louisville in our cute little American roads. I drive a 2014 Sonata. She's a lovely car. If anybody's car shopping, I love it. I love the car. It runs great. It's super wonderful on gas. It feels like a luxury car, and Hyundai put a lot of thought into that. So into the design, the interior design of the car, all that. It's super comfortable when we go on these road trips. So it is a great car for the U.S. It is not a car I would take off-roading consistently or ever. So the Hyundai's got to go. So my credit's going to take a little hit with that, um, but it's worth it for this next move we're going to make. And credit's one of those things. It's kind of like hair. You chop off all your hair, eventually it'll grow back, So the credit takes a hit, whatever. I'll build it back up over the next, year or two. I'm not super stressed about that. Um, so there you go. That's the deal with the vehicle. I'm glad you're following. Let's see how this goes. We are now uh, 5 weeks away from my trip down to Belize to check out the housing and secure it. And I guess that makes us 10 weeks away from the move. So, woo-hoo, I'm super excited. 2 weeks away from moving out of this house. And as you can see in the background, I haven't done a lot of packing, but listen, I could pack this house up in a weekend if I had to. That's not my intent, but I could if I had to. Anyway, so we are actually just starting the packing process and selling everything on Craigslist and whatnot now. So 2 weeks to go here in Colorado. I will touch in next time I have something interesting to say. I'll let you guys see how the yard sale's going, and I will definitely show you the shipping, the boxes and the stuff like that that I got to ship what items I am going to keep. So there you go. That's 15 minutes long. Sorry, you guys know I'm long-winded. You gotta forgive me for that. Belize trip 2016 in effect. Thanks for following. Peace out.